we're in this toxic world. And last time when we were talking about iodine, we talked about one of the functions is that it helps detox the cells. But salt is part of that equation. If you don't have enough sodium or potassium for that sodium potassium pump to get the nutrients in the cell and the toxins out, what are you going to do? Right. So can you dive a little deeper into salt as a balance to the iodine with detoxification?
So in our last talk, I think I went through, the human body, we were designed by our maker to have certain receptors that are looking for their mineral or their nutrient or their vitamin, whatever they're there for. And such as we have receptors for iodine, in our thyroid and the breasts and the ovaries and the pancreas and, all the glandular tissue. So we should take in enough iodine to saturate those receptors with iodine. So in the thyroid, you can make thyroid hormone. In the adrenal glands, you can make adrenal hormones. In the breast, you can maintain normal architecture, not get lumps and bumps and growths, abnormal growth of tissue. Unfortunately, in our modern world, as you mentioned, with the devitalized food that's out there, we're not getting in enough essential nutrients and we're getting in too many toxins. So we have been designed, pretty well, and it's a pretty perfect design that we can live in a low, let's take iodine, for example. We can live in a low iodine environment for a while. And we have mechanisms to move iodine from a low concentration, such as in the bloodstream, when there's low iodine in the environment, or people aren't taking iodine, and move iodine into let's say the thyroid gland or the breasts. And it's the mechanism to move that iodine is called the sodium iodine symporter. And it's so important that we've been designed to use 2 sodium atoms to move 1 iodine atom into the thyroid gland and use up an ATP, a precious ATP molecule to do that. It's so important that we do it. We're willing to sacrifice an ATP molecule to do it. Well, you need 2 atoms of sodium to accomplish that. If you don't have enough salts, which is sodium and chloride, you're going to have trouble doing that. And it makes like the thyroid worse. It makes the adrenals worse. It makes the hormone system worse when people are low in salt. And, the common complaints I'm hearing from my patients low in salt is they're fatigued, they're brain fogged, they're achy. They get leg cramps and foot cramps. And these can all be like same symptoms as hypothyroidism. So the treatment in this situation may be just put them on more salt first, and perhaps, salt and iodine. Perhaps the thyroid gland can get iodinated again. They can make thyroid hormone, and you're going to need salt to do that. So one of the points I made in our last talk was that I never prescribe iodine without salt.
Yeah.
Remember, congestive heart failure, kidney failure, we got to talk about that at the end of this. But, those are the people you got to be careful with salt. But salt is helpful for getting iodine into the cells. Salt's helpful for getting toxins out of the body. In the old days, when bromide which is a toxic halide that can compete with iodine, when bromide was used in a lot of medicine products and it was, I'm old enough to remember the ads for Bromoseltzer. Now you get Alka-Seltzer. And Bromoseltzer was a bromine molecule, and you put it in water like the Alka-Seltzer, and you drink it when you have heartburn. And heartburn 30 years ago when I started medicine was just like it is today, man. A lot of people get it, and they're looking for relief. So they would get toxic on these drugs that have bromine in it, like Bromoseltzer. And toxicity from bromine can result in fatigue and confusion and, mental decline. And, the treatment for bromine toxicity was to salt the bromine out. The sodium would bind with bromide, make a salt of it so you could get it out of the body. And the chloride could, in a salt IV, a normal saline IV, would help to push bromide out of the body, and the sodium would help usher it out safely. So one of the things with salt is, you can help toxins like bromide come out of the body, like fluoride. But salt also is, I find, very helpful for the heavy metals: mercury, lead, cadmium, arsenic, nickel. So I think salt has a lot of really wonderful effects and we have so much salt in our body. There's a reason for it. It's not just there to be there. We're not designed ridiculously. We were designed for a purpose. We were designed to have over a gram of sodium and a gram of chloride for a reason, because it's used all over the place. And keep in mind, we have no stores of salt. We don't sit here with a hump on our backs of salt ready to draw on it when the environment's not giving us enough salt, like camels draw on water when they live in the desert. And we don't have that. So we got to get it in on a daily basis, or we're deficient.
I love that you mentioned that you never prescribe iodine without salt, because I recommend people taking their Accelerdyne iodine, and then after 12 minutes, put a little of the accelerated ancient salt, which is a full complete salt with 62 minerals in it, on their tongue or in their water 12 minutes after. And, a couple months ago, I was in need of a liver flush. I was really nauseous on a daily basis, and I'd put salt on my tongue, and that was the only thing that would actually help the nausea go away, because it also plumps up the blood to push out the salt and the detoxing that the iodine's doing, or if you're doing another detox protocol. But there's a lot of times when people get on my cleanses, they go from the standard American diet to a more high wild animal protein focused whole food diet that tends to be lower carb. And they feel great day 1 and 2, day 3, they go, Sara, I'm out of energy. Well, because you just let go of a whole bunch of sodium and potassium in your urine, and you need to hydrate with salt. And you get that salt gives you energy. They say that by supplementing with salt before a workout, that you have energy for an additional 21 minutes. And it's giving that body the physical and mental energy.